Hello, welcome, I'm Devil Sniper and this is episode 9 of my career mode with Newcastle United on FIFA 12. So the last few games, the last 6 games have been extremely up and down. We've had a lot of poor results, the odd good result, but more poor results than good results unfortunately. And I'm sitting in my office and I get an email through from the physio, and at last it's some decent news. Ben Arthur can rejoin the training sessions and link up with the first team, which is fantastic news. You know, that's what I need to be hearing. That's what the lads are going to be looking forward to hearing. And as I've done with Tiago, I'm not going to rush him back in. I'm going to stick him on the bench. I'm going to ease him in back into the game gently. I don't want to rush him. And we have an away fixture in the FA Cup to Wolverhampton Wanderers. So we've got a bit of a trek down to Montpellier. Not one of my historically favourite grounds. I've never really liked going to Montpellier. It's a tough ground to go to. It can be quite a fierce atmosphere, and Wolves do play good high-paced football at times. And they showed that to us in this section here. You know, we're just not at the races. We're giving them too much time. We're allowing them space. Colaccini pulls himself out of position. Santon comes across. Makes a pointless effort of a tackle, and we're 1-0 down. And you know, that is just not what we want to be doing. You know, you work hard all bloody week, and the lads go and sort of destroy all the hard work in one foul swoop. But Bar has a go at getting us back into the game, swings in a great shot, but the keeper's all over it. Makes a nice save. Got to say, it was a cracking save, but we just can't seem to break them down. You know, every time we're shooting, we're just hitting them. But we were lucky enough to pick up a corner. I don't think it was a corner, it come off our guy, but you know, we try and make the most of it. But all of a sudden, an absolute rocket is unleashed. Jesus Christ, lad. That was a finish. That was a bloody finish. And I've got to say, you know, that is equal to Danny Simpson. My two defenders have pulled out 2 of the best goals I think I've ever seen this season. Fantastic strike. Hits it clean as a nut. And unfortunately, O'Hara, it must have proved too much for him, because he was crying. And of course, his manager took him off, rightfully so. I mean, it's the last thing you want to see, a professional football player on his backside crying after a goal like that. It's a little bit ridiculous. Anyway, we had ourselves back in the game, and we then decided to commit suicide. I mean, the guy scored anyway, it doesn't really matter, but it was a pointless tackle. You know, he just stuck his foot in there for the sake of it. Give away a penalty. So we've got an opportunity to save it. And I think Wolves would have been happy if we did save it. And unfortunately we didn't. So we're trailing 2-1 just before half-time. The worst time to concede a goal is just before half-time. It was an absolute nightmare. And I decided, you know, we've got to go for it. There's no point sitting back, you know, trying to play constructive football. We've just got to up the tempo. I'm going to push a few more boys forward. I dropped Simpson into right midfield, pushed him forward in the hope that we can create some more space. And then they split us with an absolute diamond ball. And that was a class finish. I mean, Fletcher was a pain in the arse all day. An absolute pain in the arse, to be fair. You know, a really good player. And with that, I sort of thought to myself, you know, got to make some changes, got to freshen up. Let's get some fresh legs on. Let's have another push. Let's see what damage we can do. There's under 20 minutes to go. This game is still not over. And speaking of Fletcher, I think he's a player I've had my eye on for the past few weeks. You know, he's putting some good performances for Wolves. So hopefully we might be able to see if we can conduct some business in January. You know, utilise some of our assets, get rid of a few players, and buy a couple of players if possible. But we'll have to see about that, because I ain't got too much readies from Mr. Ashley. I've got pretty much bugger all, which is a shame, and I'm on the lookout for a scout. So there we go. Anyway, Amiobi, out of nowhere, lets a ripper go. 2 absolute diving goals. Unfortunately, it's come too late. You know, the 89th minute. We had a nice build-up of pressure for the last 17 minutes, but we just couldn't break them down. Then Amiobi, out of nowhere, just hits an absolute bloody rocket and makes it 3-2. Unfortunately, that's the way the game finished. We were disappointed, but we lost 3-2. The board aren't going to be bloody happy. The fans, rightly so, weren't happy. A lax start was disgraceful, but this was the highlight. Absolute rocket shot. That's going to push Danny Simpson close, that one, I tell you. So Williamson has finally served his suspension, thankfully. Swansea came in and gave me a good offer for Best, for Leon Best. And to be honest, I'd be a mug if I turned it down. So I didn't, and I took the Reddies. Because I needed them, to be quite frank. I needed the money. And what we're going to do with that money is, because obviously, 2-3 million ain't going to be enough to get the likes of Fletcher, nor the players that I want to try and bring to the club. So I'm going to try and have a look for a young player. So I employed a scout. Cost me a fair whack, but I think that will benefit the club in the long run. And the plan is to bring in some young blood. As you can see, Ben Arthur, this is what I want to see. He's all over it. He wants to get back in. He's raring to go. This week in training, we started him off lightly, done really well. There was no problems with his knee, and he's continued to up his fitness level. So he's in contention. I'm still a little bit sceptical about bringing him back. For me, it feels a little bit too early, but we'll see. We've got a few hours before the next game, so hopefully the physio will give me a decent report. And I'm going to mix the formation up because I feel we need to. I feel. I don't know, I just want to try and get on a run, try and pick up some decent results. And try and get some consistency within the team. It's always got to start fundamentally from the managerial side. It's got to start fundamentally with the back four, As much as Simpson and Colaccini have played really well, we haven't been consistent enough at the back. That's been really disappointing. The highlights for me has to be Cabaye and Barr. He's an absolute beast. Both players are an absolute beast. And as you can see, I dropped Ben Arthur in for the home game against QPR. Have the fans welcoming him back at St James's Park. That'd be a nice feeling for him. And I'm quite positive about this game. I think we've got more than enough in the bag to be able to shoot him down. And Ben Arthur was all over it. He was started off like an absolute rocket. He wanted the ball all the time, Every time we had the ball, he wanted the ball. And he picks in a lovely cross here. And Diemba Ba just nudges it home. That was an absolute quality goal, A lot of people will see that on Match of the Day and think, oh, that was just a bread and butter goal. But the crossing by Ben Arthur was absolutely superb. And the acute angle for the header from Diemba Ba was absolute class finish. And for once we started to, defend really well. The fullbacks cutting them down, trying to stop the crosses coming in. The centre-backs man-marking tight. And it started to pay dividends. That allowed us to have more space in midfield, and we pushed forward. And this is just silky. Cabaye comes in with a late Paul Scholes run and just nails an absolute rocket into the goal to make it 2-0 just before half time. So QPR are going to feel like we did against Wolverhampton Wanderers, thankfully. And we applied the pressure over and over and over again. Two boys going in, nearly colliding to have a crack at that one. And then all of a sudden we're broken and you think, no, they're going to crack. But no, they don't crack it. They don't crack our defence. Unbelievable defending, which really made me, smile. A nice unselfish finish there from Cisse, knocks it into his buddy Barr. And Barr secures another goal. A brace in this game so far. Boys are playing really well. It's the 85th minute. I think Ben Arthur's put in a good shift, so I made 3 changes. And the lad I brought on for Ben Arthur sneakily goes and nails the 4th in the 90th minute, which was quite ironic. But first touch and a goal, what can you do? So that was quite an enjoyable game for once. The lads played really well. Cabaye pushed Ben Arthur for the man of the match, but the man of the match had to go to Ben Arthur. And I went back to the office, went back to the club to do some business, sitting at my desk, looking through some players, and all of a sudden, my world comes tumbling down. The media have got hold of some vicious rumours. I can't confirm anything, and it's all over the press. Ferguson's backing me to be a future Man United manager. The Newcastle fans backlocked for the next season. There's a rumour that 5 teams are in the mix to take my signature. And that's not the sort of news the lads need to be reading before we travel down to Fulham. Really not the sort of preparation that we needed. I can't really go into details or divulge much information. But, it really did, quite frankly, play with my players' heads. And as you can see, the lads are just all over the place, They're just not at the races. really disappointing that this information has been leaked into the press at such a crucial time. You know, after a fantastic win against QPR, to have that information leaked, it's just annoying. I mean, look at the lads; they're just all over the place. There's no cohesion. You know, they're not playing for each other. They're just going through the motions. Is quite frankly what happened during this game. We had one bright spark in the 29th minute. A lame effort, but at least it was an attempt, and that was the only attempt that we managed in the entire game, which is extremely disappointing. As you can see, Kabai's getting frustrated, giving away an absolutely needless free kick, which is so uncharacteristic of Kabai. And then we try and play the offside trap, which fails completely, and allow Fulham in for the second. And to be quite honest, I'm surprised we got away with 2-0. That could have been an absolute hatful. But Colaccini, you know, I can understand the lad must be feeling a little bit distraught with all the rumours concerning myself, but to go and give away a needless free kick for a start, and to get yourself sent off with a straight red is just absolutely a killer for me, an absolute killer for me. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you in episode